Hello, everyone. My name is Mercedes Maestas, and today we are going to discuss the Balenciaga campaigns for our case review in Communications 563. Some background on the brand. In 1919, Balenciaga was founded by Cristobal Balenciaga in Paris. The brand was known for revolutionizing women's fashion with the popular hourglass shapes, ballroom hems, and sack dresses. Now they have also added sock sneakers to enhance footwear. The stakeholders are Kering, which is a French based corporation that owns many other well known brands. Kim Kardashian is a brand ambassador for Balenciaga. The dilemma: the first campaign is called Balenciaga Gift Shop, showing children holding destroyed teddy bears that then got backlash for looking like bondage paraphernalia. The second campaign, Guardrobe, showed paperwork as a prop that showed the promotion of child pornography. As we get into the timeline of events, we want to discuss a few important things. First, in 2015, Demna, who is known for edgy and political messages in fashion, was appointed to be the artistic director for Balenciaga. On November 16th, 2022, Balenciaga's gift shop campaign was published. Then, November 21st of 2022, Balenciaga's Guardrobe campaign was published. On November 24th, 2022, the brand started getting a lot of backlash, apologized, and announced that they were then taking legal action. And just about 2 weeks later, on December 2nd, 2022, they decided they were no longer going to take legal action. Let's do a deeper dive into the campaigns. The first campaign is the gift shop campaign. On November 16th of 2022, Balenciaga published a campaign called Balenciaga Gift Shop. An Italian documentary photographer, Gabriele Galimbardi, had previously made a book featuring children with their toys, but had never shot a fashion campaign before. 6 children were featured in this campaign, and the children were holding destroyed teddy bear handbags. The bears had black eyes, fishnet tops, and leather harnesses. According to the photographer, everything had been picked directly by Balenciaga, and they had many staff members on site during the photography shoot. The next campaign is the Guardrobe campaign. Nicole Kidman, Isabel Huppert, and Bella Hadid were models in this campaign. As a campaign for Balenciaga and Adidas collaboration of the Hourglass handbag that was featured on the office desk with the Supreme Court's 2008 decision on U.S. v. Williams, which was a case that was promoting child pornography as freedom of speech rights. As we discuss these cases, we learn that children are at the root of these two campaigns. And as we dive a little bit deeper, we will discuss on how we can move forward ethically with children included in campaigns. As we evaluate what alternatives are available, first we're going to talk about admitting the wrongs as soon as possible. Balenciaga started getting backlash a few days after the second campaign went live. They responded, but they pointed fingers at other people and agencies. If Balenciaga was just to own it and address it head on, their brand wouldn't have had as much pushback and scrutiny from the media and their customers. Then, leaving social media posts for credibility. In many classes that I have taken, we have discussed the importance of posting on social media, of not deleting any of the posts. When we post, there are always going to be people who have seen it, and when we delete it, it raises even more questions from those engaging with our platforms. If Balenciaga would have kept the post and not deleted every single post from before this situation, then there might not have been as many red flags raised. As we make mistakes, we have to own it and realize that no matter what, there are going to be people who see our mistakes, and we just need to start off from the beginning and be transparent. Third, having brand ambassadors speak out. With Kim Kardashian as a role model to many people across the world, Many people were very disappointed that she had took a long time to respond to the campaign backlash. She did state that she was reevaluating her work with the brand, but continued to post with the brand after that statement. When speaking out, transparency is key. We need to have the brand ambassadors also address situations, and if they choose to stay with the brand, accept it and address it with the public. Many people felt betrayed and felt like their role model was engaging in content that they didn't want to be a part of, and overall, it was causing backlash on Kim's following and credibility. As we think about ethics and applying ethical theories, the first one that comes to mind is ethics of care. So, what is ethics of care? Ethics of care really focuses on human care as the main responsibility. It's understanding that taking care of others and understanding relationship is how we gain trust and overall can morally address what is right and wrong. So, how does this relate to the Balenciaga campaigns? Balenciaga didn't understand the heat they were going to get from the customers that they already had. They chose to break trusting relationships with those that were most important stakeholder in their business by the way that they took a stance on their own backlash. As we discuss the importance of relationships and human care, this includes children. Many people were disturbed that children were being exploited on the internet and that a company was okay with these things getting by. There is an overarching emphasis on humans being interconnected and making moral choices that are guided by ethics of care. And as we move forward with social media, especially with children, we need to understand that making these choices are going to impact the future of social media as well. Then we can discuss virtue ethics. Virtue ethics emphasizes what it means to be a person of good character. It focuses on role models and moral exemplars. So when we understand the Balenciaga campaigns, we do know that answers in ethical ways are not always black and white, especially when it comes to virtue ethics. The situations are going to have different outcomes because it's not always a one size fits all scenario. And that's what we love about virtue ethics is it can be adapted. But it's also understood that virtue ethics is pushing everyone to achieve the highest form of happiness for all through the moral choices that they are making. As Balenciaga decided to choose their own path and not engage in virtue when creating these campaigns, it made it difficult for people to believe that they had the highest form of happiness on their radar. The golden mean is all about finding balance. We take two extremes and then find a middle ground to realize what the moral option is. When Balenciaga was creating ideas for their campaigns, they needed to really assess the extremes and realize that taking these choices might be the actual extremes and might not appeal to many people. I think that after the scrutiny of two campaigns in a row, Balenciaga will now consider the golden mean and how to morally respond to their own ideas and campaigns by addressing the issues before the campaigns are even open for shooting. As we've discussed it before, taking a stance and my own thoughts, I think that one of the most important things that we've learned from studying this ethical issue is owning up to our fault. We are all going to have failures and possibly post things that we might say, maybe that wasn't the greatest choice. But we're human and we have to learn from these things. But when we own up to the failure, admit we made mistakes, and are transparent, we are going to see people be more forgiving and less critical in the future. Social media is ever changing, and we are in a society that is about instant gratification and engaging with content frequently. When one person sees a post, there are many people that are going to start conversations about the postings, and when they're deleted, there's more conversation around how it was deleted and what that brand is trying to hide. Understanding algorithm, how to engage properly with your audience, and stay professional is important when running social media pages. As controversy comes up to the pages, which it will happen with social media and the way that it's changing, we need to understand how to address hot topics, being open to feedback, being quick to apologize, and overall save the account and the campaigns that are in the future. So, as we look ahead, we really want to focus on protecting children on the internet. We've discussed in the course before that there are ways that we can gain consent for engaging with photos and other areas of these campaigns and having people involved. But when it comes to children, we need to be strict about the consent that we are providing when children are being involved and need to be very transparent with the guardian that is giving the consent for their children to be in these campaigns. We need to be willing to protect the children and the consent that they are engaging in because it can truly impact the careers that they will have in this industry in the future. We need to gain trust of our social media customers. We've said it before, transparency is key. As we've discussed throughout this analysis, being transparent, honest, and striving for authentic engagement to have a trusting relationship for a long time with those that are purchasing our products or are sharing content for our brand need to be discussed. And then knowing your audience. We know it's important to be honest and truthful, but understanding who your audience is and what their moral values are is going to impact how you engage with them. Brands need to be matching what they believe their customers think is morally sound, and they'll be able to engage with them in the long run. So, as we move forward, let's keep this discussion going around ethical standpoints around campaigns, especially including children. So, the discussion questions that we'll be talking about is how do we ethically use children in advertisements and protect their rights? What does it take for a brand ambassador to gain the trust of customers when they choose not to take a stance on hot topics like these campaigns? And then when it comes to online spaces, is it appropriate for brands to delete content that causes customers to question their authenticity? Thank you so much for coming along with me as we dissected the Balenciaga campaigns. I'm excited to engage in further questions and discussions with you as we continue talking about ethical dilemmas that have been shared today. Thank you.